This is a video for Module 1, Lesson 7. The Lesson 7 learning target is I can round multi-digit numbers to the thousands place using the vertical number line. So we're going to be introducing ourselves to rounding today, and we're going to just focus on rounding to one specific place value, the thousands place, and we're going to be using the tool of a vertical number line to help us do this. So let's go ahead and jump into the first problem, and where we're going to be introduced to the concept of rounding with the vertical number line to the thousands place. So you may recall from previous years in math that the idea of rounding is where we're taking a number and finding a number that's a little easier to work with, that's relatively close to the original number. So we're finding a number that's approximate or close to the number, but it's typically a little easier to work with. So in this case, we're going to be rounding numbers to the nearest thousand. So that means we're either going to be rounding 4,100 up to the next thousand or down to the nearest thousand. And to do this, we actually take a look at the thousands place of the number in 4,100, and we notice that there are 4 thousands in this number. So that helps us determine the lower end of our vertical number line. Since there's a 4 in the thousands place, the lower end of the number line is simply going to be 4,000. And since we're working with thousands, that helps us determine the upper value of the vertical number line because we simply add one more thousand to it, and that is 5,000. So when we're rounding 4,100, it's either going to be rounded to 5,000 or 4,000. So to determine which number we're going to round to, we need to find which one it is closer to. And to help us do this, we are actually going to find the midpoint between 5,000 and 4,000. So if we cut the distance between 4,000 and 5,000 in half, we end up with 4,500. So if the number that we're rounding is above 4,500, we're going to round to 5,000. But if it is below 4,500, we're going to round to 4,000. So right now we're going to place our number 4,100 on the vertical number line. I'm going to erase all of these extra little lines on here so we can clearly see our vertical number line. And so if I was to approximate where 4,100 is, it's just above 4,000 on the number line. And so since 4,100 is below 4,500, I know I'm going to be rounding down. And it's pretty obvious that the nearest thousand is 4,000. So I would say that 4,100 rounded to the nearest thousand is 4,000. So let's take a look at a few more example problems using the vertical number line and rounding to the closest thousand. So this problem here, we're going to be rounding 4,180, and we're going to find the nearest thousand. So once again, I look at the thousands place because that's what I'm rounding to. And since there's 4 thousands in this number, that helps me determine that the lower value of my vertical number line is going to be 4,000. And I add 1,000 more to get the upper value of my vertical number line. And the midpoint, once again, is going to be 4,500. Since 4,180 would approximately fall right here on the number line, and I can clearly tell that it is closer to 4,000, I would round this one to 4,000 as well. So 4,180 rounded to the nearest thousand is 4,000. So we have these two little squiggly lines here, and these mean approximately. So we say 4,180 is approximately 4,000 when rounded to the nearest thousand. So that was another example with using the vertical number line to round a 4-digit number. So let's take a look at how we would use it to round to the nearest thousand using a 5-digit number. It gets a little bit tricky when we're working with a 5-digit number, but if we follow the same steps and be really careful about using our vertical number line, it's still the same process as before. So since we're rounding to the nearest thousand, I'm going to zoom in on my thousands place, which this time is not the highest number in, or highest place value in my number. So in this case, the 2 is in the nearest thousands place. So that helps me determine that the lower value of the vertical number line is going to be 32,000. And to find the upper value of my vertical number line, since I'm rounding to the nearest thousand, I'm going to add 1,000. So that becomes 33,000. So I'm either going to be rounding this number to 32,000 or 33,000. But first, I need to find the midpoint between these two values on my vertical number line. And if I think about the spot that's halfway between 32,000 and 33,000, I determine that it is 32,500. So that's the exact middle between 33,000 and 32,000. So now that I've set up my vertical number line, I just need to place the number that I'm rounding on the number line. So I take a look and I see where is it going to fall. In this case, I think 32,879 is going to fall approximately right here. I know this because it is definitely more than the 32,500 in the middle, and it's pretty close to 33,000. So I write this number on the number line here. And since it is above that midpoint of 32,500, I know I'm going to round this value to 33,000. So I can say that 32,879 is approximately 33,000 when rounding to the nearest thousand. Let's move on to one more example here, and this time we're going to be actually rounding using a 6-digit number. So we're still rounding to the nearest thousand in this case, and it gets even a little bit trickier with more digits in the number, but we can still follow the same process as before and get our correct answer. So I'm going to zoom in again on the thousands place, underlining it right here. It looks like there is a 9 in the thousands place. So I'm going to actually look at all three of these numbers together to help me determine the lower limit. And the lower limit of my vertical number line is going to be 699,000. So I pretty much just took these numbers and then I changed all of these numbers to zeros. And now the upper limit, I'm simply going to add 1,000 to this value. Now this is a little bit tricky because when I add 1,000 to 699,000, I actually get 700,000. This is where my understanding of place value comes in handy, because I know that one more thousand onto 699,000 is 700,000. So to determine my midpoint, I'm going to find the halfway point between these two numbers. And in this case, that is 699,500. You may have noticed from all these problems that I've been using as examples in this lesson that the midpoint is simply the lower limit of this vertical number line, except for we are having a 5 in the hundreds place. So now that I have my midpoint, I just need to plot my original number onto my number line. I know that 699,900 is going to be a lot higher than 699,500. So I'm going to plot that. I think it's approximately right up here. And since it is higher than this midpoint, and it's really super close to 700,000, I know that 699,900 rounded to the nearest thousand is 700,000. So that does it for our lesson 7, our introduction into rounding. So hopefully now you're feeling pretty comfortable about rounding numbers to the nearest thousand, and you should be able to answer all the questions on the lesson 7 problem set. As always, if you get stuck and you need to rewatch any of the video, please feel free to skip through to any part that you think will be the most helpful. But good luck with the problem set, and thanks for watching.